بداية أدعو كل من الدكتور المهندس محمد الخوري مدير عام هيئة الإمارات للهوية، والأستاذة والخبيرة الاستدامة ساندرا العناني، والدكتور حميد العلواني للتفضل في الجلسة. قبل أن نبدأ في هذه الجلسة أترك الكلمة للدكتور مهندس محمد الخوري.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. سيدي سمو الشيخ محمد بن سلطان بن حمدان آل نهيان، أصحاب السعادة، الحضور الكريم، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. سيدي، تم إعداد هذه ورقة العمل باللغة الإنجليزية، فاسمحوا لي أن أقدمها باللغة الإنجليزية. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. First of all, I'd like to thank the conference organizers for their kind invitation to Emirates Identity Authority to participate in this conference and present its thoughts around sustainability in the age of digital revolution. Well, I guess it's not a good day to all the speakers today. Let's find out. All right, the presentation basically is in two parts. The first part is I'll explore the environmental dimension in information and communications technologies, and the second part is more about sustainability in e-government. So, just to begin with, it is without a doubt that the digital revolution and the advances in information and communications technologies have reshaped the world that we live in, both in the ways that we communicate and do business, as well as ICT has played a key role in almost every aspect of human development. However, and although information and communication technologies have contributed towards enabling a low-carbon economy, the energy and carbon impact of the sector itself is considered to be substantially significant. A worrying fact in this regard is that, as ICT is growing and continuing to grow at a very speedy pace, the energy consumption and the carbon emissions are also growing alongside. Let us take Google, for example. The carbon footprint of one Google search is similar to an 11-watt light bulb operating for one complete hour. This is considered to be an issue, specifically when we see that Google processes more than 100 billion queries every month, 3.3 billion every day. Another fact related to information and communications technologies is in its lifetime. The fast development pace, as I just mentioned, is constantly also shortening the electronic device's lifespan, which is also resulting in huge e-waste. The ever-growing flow of e-waste, which is reported to be around 50 million tons each year, including computers, televisions, and other electronic products, are being dumped in China, India, and Africa. And in light of no clear sort of processing guidelines and no international standards of how we process e-waste, there exist serious health and pollution problems. Let's look at some statistics here. In the United States, for example, 30 million computers are discarded each year. In Europe, we have got 100 million phones discarded each year. Worldwide, the e-waste is considered to rise by 500% in the next 10 years, according to the United Nations Environmental Programme recent report. Again, the dilemma and the issue is that 15 to 20% of the e-waste, it can be processed and recycled. However, again, the remaining 80 to 85% of the waste goes in landfills and incinerators. Again, that was the dark side of ICT. If we look at the positive and the shining side of ICT, it has the potential to reduce global emissions significantly in other sectors. It can play a supportive role in monitoring, optimization, management of energy usage in other sectors. And this is also reported that it could save $1 trillion in 2020. Again, studies indicate that the footprint of ICT is projected to rise. However, if we look at the by 2020, however, if we look at the potential value of this, it can again reduce the footprint in other sectors by 7 times than the footprint it produces. So let's look at e-government, since it is, again, the buzzword specifically in the UAE and worldwide. E-government is basically a service delivery engine where government attempts to deliver its services over various electronic channels, and in an attempt to achieve efficiency and effectiveness, in its operations, as well as more efficacious milestones and in its business operations. We have got so many terms related to e-government that we actually hear in today's world. Things like, for example, digital government, 24-hour government, connected government, customer service, citizen focus, and so on and so forth. And we have got new terminologies nowadays talking about big data, open data, data and services architecture, and so on and so forth. However, we don't really hear about sustainability and environment in e-government. As a matter of fact, e-government is not just limited to the often quoted services, convenience and availability. It has got rather a bigger impact on the socio-economic landscape and the environmental sustainability. In fact, it has a direct impact on the world's green agenda. E-government, basically, it's about time savings. We are talking about an electronized world. Again, lesser times to be, to provide services, better interactions, higher levels of productivity. We talk about information and knowledge economy in this digital world. The fact that we have online transactions and there is dependency on online transactions in e-government, we consume less paper, less trees are cut. Lesser dependency also on power consumption in the traditional processing cycles and systems. Lesser transportation. People don't need to commute to government agencies. Again, lesser dependency on fuel usage and lesser pollution as a result. However, when we talk about sustainability in e-government, we can evaluate this as to how we practice e-government in our organizations. The studies indicate that governments have failed to include environmental sustainability into their e-government efforts. Studies also indicate that there is a complete delusion and misalignment between national environmental strategies and e-government execution plans. This is a report, reviewing one of the reports published by Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. It examines the top e-government objectives in central government. These are the objectives that were actually written in the report: reducing administrative burdens, cutting costs, promoting innovation, improving responsiveness and effectiveness. Let's look at the drivers behind the government. We look at terms like privacy, digital signature, e-business, cyber, crime monitoring, knowledge management, and so on and so forth. Where is environment sustainability in these objectives? Actually, what we found is that the underlying policies and laws driving e-government do not include environmental strategies. So one may wonder, why do we have this misalignment? Again, a study that was published by Andrew Griffith, a professor at the University of Queensland in the UK, he found that although there are positive environmental outcomes that are sought after in high-level strategies, they tend to dissipate as they make their way down to the government, to the execution level. If we look at overall a governmental strategy framework, and this is again the findings of the Professor Andrew, he looks at the strategy in 4 phases. For example, the first phase, where government priorities are actually set at national level, we see that there are some large considerations and again attention given to environment sustainability. When they go to the departmental priorities and strategies, we find that the strategic intents get diluted. And there is, though there are clear initiatives under green environment, at the operational level, at the third level, we see that the emphasis is more on the operational requirements than the national requirements, and environment sustainability and its considerations get diluted substantially. At the fourth level, the last layer of the strategy execution, environmental considerations are virtually non-existent. Again, talking about e-government and how we practice e-government need to reflect the government environmental priorities overall, and this need to be regulated. Otherwise, it will result in counterproductive and misaligned initiatives with the national environmental strategies. E-government is about lesser paper. However, if we see it, current practices, we see more paper generated after we implemented e-government. Basically, e-government is about online and virtual sort of business processes. This need, again, by default, we will generate more content. However, this need to be again restudied and re-examined overall in e-government initiatives. Again, e-government initiatives need to pay attention to the usage of electronic channels and the polluting devices and how we manage e-waste overall, and also give higher attention to the power consumption, not only in data centers, but also in how we architect and design our systems. This takes me to the last part of my presentation. E-government basically is about, again, a need to be aligned with national environmental strategies. It is imperative that this needs to be explicitly included and managed diligently at all different layers of strategic planning and execution. Again, we need to work with each other to make this transition towards, again, a world with less carbon footprint. It's important for governments to work and to balance, to introduce some sort of a balance between the need to improve life quality of people, increasing their access to ICT and providing services, but at the same time and simultaneously, we need to also think about reducing the overwhelming environmental footprint and the impact associated with the electronic products. With that, I conclude my presentation. If you'd like to, again, read more about what we do at Emirates Identity Authority, please visit our website, id.ae. You can, again, get some information about what we do in there at Emirates Identity Authority and how we also support the development of public sector. Thank you very much.